Oh, yeah. Little scat. She's a scat lady. She's a scat gal.
Episode
That's pretty good.
411. That was really good.
That's really funny. I mean, it's no brain candy theme song, but like,
you know how
next
some
best
people
thing.
are into scat play?
Oh my God. Are we talking about the
you
music?
mentioned
or
scat, and then it made me think about that.
It's always got to go to that, doesn't it, with us?
Let's just say you found the love of your life and you were together for years, and then one day they finally admitted that that's what their heart desired in the sack. What would you go for? Like, would you try it?
Well, no. Not at all. At all. For like a million reasons.
Okay, just checking.
But what I would do in that situation is outsource that. Like, I wouldn't say somebody should, like, first I would explore why, and then, like, if the therapy doesn't freaking work, then, you know, and, like, nothing, you need that, you know, just, like, do it, like, safely and, like, over there and, like, have somebody else do it. But, like, I'm fine with that.
Like, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, but, like, no, don't tell me after. I would much rather, like, know about those things and then have them, like, sneak around. Wow, we just dove right into this. Do we even say what the heck episode this is?
I did. 411,
okay.
411. How are you, Sarah? Oh, Sarah and I were talking before we started. We are crabby.
Crabby?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I'm just distracted. But whoa! Don't think that you can just skip over this and like not answer the question yourself.
Oh no, I would not do that. That's where I draw the line.
Would you be like, I'm out of here?
No, I just say, well, we're not doing that.
Yeah, right.
Divorce. I mean, no. If they just said, hey, I'm really into this scat play, I would just be like, well, I'm really not, and definitely not doing that. So. Yeah, deal with it.
Oh, it's like, yeah. Do you think it's just like a slippery slope? Like it goes from playing with the back door, a little bum action?
I do not. I don't think it's a slippery slope.
Of course not.
No, I think that is next level when you actually want that product.
There's something there. Ooh, God, good Lord, Suze.
All right.
I hope nobody's listen. Like, if I apologize if you are somebody who's listening to this while you're cooking.
Or what if it's their first episode? Welcome.
And they're like, wait a sec. I heard her talking about healthy relationships on another podcast. This seems different.
I'm sorry, everyone. You know what? After 4 weeks in quarantine, things get a little weird.
They do. Well, hopefully not that weird.
Not that weird. I did want to top off the show, however, with a funny conversation, thanks to a brainiac named Amy, who sent me a link to have a deep dive, so to speak, about a man who has 2 fully functional penises.
Oh, my goodness.
And it is so fascinating. I'm serious, okay?
Yeah, tell me more.
So this guy, he has 2 gigantic 8-inchers, flaccid.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Not only are there... Okay, men with small penises everywhere are pissed.
He got 2 monsters. I don't know what it is erect, but he had a measuring tape next to them.
No.
Yeah.
Without flaccid.
Yeah, and I was like, those are gorgeous, number one.
Maybe they're showers, not growers, hopefully.
Right, maybe. Regardless, they were fantastic, and I was so intrigued. And he did a... Ask Me Anything.
How does it even work?
Yes.
He didn't ask me anything?
Yes.
Oh, please. Can you answer every question I have? I'm fascinated. And I'm not going to Google this.
You should, though, to see it, because I think you'd be impressed. They're beautiful.
Oh, my God.
Because you would expect if you have one normal penis, then the second one might be like a bonus kind of weird thumb kind of situation.
Right.
But it isn't. It's just 2 identical 8-inchers.
But, like, is it like, this is a weird way to put it, but, like, is it branches sprouting off from the same source, or are they growing parallel?
Parallel.
What? What?
Yes. No, they are not branched. And
What?
are you looking
Okay.
at it?
No.
Oh.
No. Should I?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
the
my
man
God.
with two penises.
Not safe for work.
No, not safe for work, but.
Well, I mean, I work at home and not safe from work here because
Yeah.
God forbid Ren walks in right now.
Yeah.
I swear I'm on a podcast. What do I Google?
Man with two penises. Ask me
Man
anything. Reddit.
with-
AMA Reddit.
Oh, that sounds safe. Oh, the man with two functioning penises.
Yes,
It
that's
comes
the one.
right up.
Yeah.
How did I miss this?
I don't know because it was the most popular Ask Me Anything they ever did.
Seriously, how did I miss this? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Give me a picture.
So he was so cool. I loved him after
Whoa!
Sarah.
Oh my God. What?
What do you think of him? Beautiful, right?
You know, I wish he weren't so manicured. That's
I didn't like that. I didn't like that situation.
That's interesting.
That's
give me the
distracting.
picture. It is distracting. That's distracting. That is the last thing that you'd ever think would come out of somebody's mouth when they were looking at a picture of a man with two penises.
It was though. That was the part I was like, I don't
agree,
like how
which
he
is why
shaves
that's
his
so funny
pubic hair.
because it's totally true. But that's hilarious.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Do you like the penises? Do you think they're nice?
I mean, they're really nice looking.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I can't. That's.
I know.
Oh my. It's not. But it's interesting because it's not it's not attractive for me. Like I don't get the same. It's like it's a curiosity.
Do you think it's
more
because they're soft or just because?
No, because I've seen a soft penis before and been like, I do know that they get hard. So this is very strange.
Well, this guy was so cool in the AMA, and he answered everyone's questions, and he was so down to earth and fun, and I just really like him. And he, first of all, is a bisexual man who is in a relationship with a man and a woman. And
well, I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense.
It
It would be a waste if you were
that's
using
what
both
someone
of them.
wrote. Someone wrote, "Thank God didn't waste this on a prude."
Yeah, thank God. That's
Yeah.
really funny.
And it's true. Like
It is true.
went to the right person.
Oh, and there's not shameful,
No.
or like not shame felt about it.
No, he's just like totally chilled out, and he describes how they're both fully functioning in terms of sex as well as urination. They both pee at the same time.
Now, is that fun or difficult?
No, he said it's kind of tricky because you know how like guys sometimes pee and then there's stream splits, so then there's four.
Yes. Whoa!
And he says
yeah.
it's a big production.
Oh my gosh!
And then
you just pee sitting down.
Oh, maybe he didn't. Maybe he
I mean,
said
I feel like that would
solve some of the problems.
Yeah, solve a lot of problems.
He does try to avoid public restrooms, as you can imagine.
Oh my God, of course.
And
I would never.
Yeah, but sometimes you can't, and so occasionally someone will spot him and make a comment because how could you not if you see someone with two giant wieners?
I mean, yeah.
It would be hard to not.
I'm curious to know how men react to this.
So he says that they tend to like.
Oh my God, you answer every one of my questions. I never thought in a million years you would have all these answers that to ask. Okay, continue.
He said that a lot of guys tend to be really into it, even straight guys. And one person in a locker room was like, caught a glimpse and was like, "Hey, can I see those?" And he was like, "Why, are you gay?" And the guy was like, "No, but I might be now." Like, they're into it.
Wow.
And he's had a lot of sex, and women and men are really into it. But sometimes girls get freaked out, like whenever it's the real moment. Whereas he said guys never do. They always want to go for it because they're fascinated and they're into
so,
it.
Do the guys want him to? And can he get two at once?
Yeah, he said that the way the erections work is that, like, if you're just starting to get your motor running, the one will start to get a little hard, and then it'll go full throttle. And then if he's super turned on, then the second one will start winding up.
And then he
can bang with both of them if he wants.
Oh my God.
And sometimes
so do the straight guys want him to be with them and another woman, or just them?
I think in general he's only with gay men, but the straight men seem to be interested and into it when they see it.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a fast, like oh my God, that's interesting.
And sometimes he'll put both penises into one vagina or whatever. And someone said, "What's that like?" And he goes, "Snug." And that was all he said. So,
oh my God. Mm-hmm. I mean, is he doing porn?
No, he said he thought about it, but that he felt like he
didn't.
Yeah, me too. He said he felt like he would end up feeling like Barnum and Bailey sideshow kind of thing.
Yes.
And he's very
Who
wise.
are his parents?
Yes. His mom.
I need to know this.
I don't know who they are, but they told him, at a certain age, like, just so you know, most boys only have one. So you might not want to, like, showcase it because, that could get weird. And he only realized later in life that what she was trying to do is protect him from ridicule. He thought he was protecting the other boys from not feeling bad for themselves.
This is great.
Yeah.
That is so, like, insightful. Mm-hmm. Like, that's so, like, because it could have gone either way.
Yeah, like, he saw it as more like a superpower.
And one little internal, like, a different labeling of that. Mm-hmm. He saw it as, one's good too. That's even better.
double pleasure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then when he got older and he became aware of, what was really going on, he considered having one removed to just be quote unquote normal. But then he decided not to, and he says he's glad he didn't.
Yeah.
But for a while
he would have had like a phantom. I bet he would have had like a phantom limb thing. Or
my God, that would be terrible.
No, I mean, maybe.
Or great.
Why not?
Maybe it would be still double fun. Wow. But he said he started getting promiscuous and, like, eventually got sad because he realized that he was just a novelty. Oh. And, so then he just became monogamous with his two partners.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Great. Mm-hmm. Gosh, if that isn't...
He's so evolved.
What do they say? There's a key for every lock.
I always say there's a lid for every pot.
A lid for every pot. Same thing.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Apparently he's handsome, but I didn't see a picture of his anything other than the wiener, so I can't confirm that. But that's what some other people said. So good for him.
If there's any correlation between attractiveness and attractiveness of a wiener.
Oh, that is a good question.
This is an excellent question. Get on this. We have time.
Have you ever been with someone who's really handsome, but their wiener was weird? I have not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Suze, you were the one who encouraged this relation. You
are lying.
I can't call it a relationship. Remember?
Well, I've encouraged a lot of your relationships.
Oh, right. The one
Frenchie.
from Vegas. Yes.
Well, it was small, but I didn't know it was weird.
Well, I didn't really see, not like, what, define weird?
Ugly.
No.
Because you said.
Visible is kind of, it's not ugly, but I wasn't prepared for that. And it didn't match, I don't know. It just didn't, he was very confident. It was not little dick energy.
He was. Yeah.
He had big dick energy.
He was very handsome.
He was really good at everything else. So that's why I was like, I'm down.
Well, I am definitely down for using Noom, the app, during this time. I started using it since we've been in quarantine for just keeping me on track, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not exactly feeling my best these days.
Hard to stay on track. And we need all of that help, especially with the psychology behind it.
Yes, and that's actually what I really liked about using Noom, is that every day my sort of liaison would send articles about, like, healthy habits and self-care and confidence, and I found it really helpful So you might as well, you can set whatever goal you want, whether you want to lose weight or just have more energy or move your body more. That's another thing. I'm like atrophying over here. It's so sedentary.
Oh my God,
not being
same.
able to leave your house. But I love that it's based on psychology and it sort of empowers you with tools to break bad habits and replace the better ones. I was interviewing somebody recently and they were saying how it's easier to learn to do something like wash your hands than it is to learn to not do it, like touch your face.
Oh my gosh.
That really
So
resonated
true.
with me. Yeah. Anyway, Noom only asks for 10 minutes a day, and they want to help you improve your behavior so you reach your goals. It's a perfect time to take the step towards healthier habits. I really sign up for your trial today at Noom, NOOM.com/brain candy.
I'm doing this today.
What
am I waiting for?
Yes, what do you have to lose, Sarah?
Nothing.
Visit Noom.com/brain candy to start your trial today. That's Noom, NOOM.com/brain candy. For real, I need all the help I can get, and I'm sure most people
You stole
do.
the words out of my mouth. Everybody does. Everybody needs. Yeah, I saw this funny meme that said therapists. It was like somebody who said, "I imagine that my therapist has a therapist, and that therapist has a therapist, and then she has a therapist, and then they have a master therapist, and eventually at the end of the line, it's Fiona Apple."
That's so great.
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the point. I laughed.
Right. We all need the help.
And then I told Ren that joke, and he didn't laugh
like
because
it?
he was like, "Who's Fiona Apple?" And I was like,
no.
Angsty music." Yeah.
Well, she's
That's
an
right.
oldie but goodie.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that's right. You weren't a 13-year-old preteen female filled with preteen angst in the late 90s. I forgot."
Right. It's a very specific
Yes.
demographic, and he ain't in it.
I forgot. Yes.
Anyway, I love the guy with two penises because he was so cool, and it was all very normalized and chilled out. And don't you love when someone can, as you said, kind of flip the script on what is supposed to be maybe a disability or
right, because what if his parents saw that and were like, went to the wrong doctor, somebody who was like, got to take that off so he's normal.
Well,
and
it's
he,
funny because
felt like something was missing.
He said one time when he was little, he went to a doctor, and the doctor called in a bunch of people, "Hey, look at this," freak show. And the mom said, "My son will not be your freak show," and she slapped the doctor.
Hell yeah! Mm-hmm. That's the badass bitch of the week.
Yeah, because you got to be your kid's advocate sometimes.
That's freaking
okay.
Awesome. I love her. These are cool parents. Where is he from?
He's in the U.S., but I don't know what area. That's a good question, though, because that could have gone a different way if he was in the wrong town.
I feel like he's either from, my instinct tells me he's from, Seattle, or where else could
somewhere progressive. Sedona, Arizona.
Yeah, like that.
Hippies.
Uh-huh. San Diego, I don't know
happy.
why. And I really want to know.
Adjusted.
See if I'm right. Yeah.
And I'm glad he's putting
good story.
Yeah, I'm glad he's putting those 8 inches to good use.
Oh my God. Wow. Fascinating. And it really is great that he ended up in a what is it called? Polyamorous.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
relationship.
there's a chance that having 2 penises might change your hormones in a way that would make you more inclined to have.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. Yes. Yes.
Anyway, let's move on.
Like how the brain is sexed. Oh my God. So good story,
See?
Suze. A+. Bringing it.
I thought it was a good one to kick off, things.
Yes.
With. Okay. Now, I did see a video about how IKEA names its furniture, and I thought you would be interested. Did you see this?
No, but I love it because those names crack me up. And it's crazy that I have some of them memorized, which is so weird.
You do not.
Yeah, everybody knows what a Malm dresser is.
That's true.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, that
you
is
have them
true.
memorized too.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to pull it out of my head, but I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
There are certain items that people go crazy about.
Yeah.
But they were just saying how the founder had dyslexia, and so he had trouble managing, like barcodes and just sort of abstract coding for all the furniture. So they decided to use a different kind of coding that would group things into categories. So, for instance, outdoor furniture was named after islands. So all of those names are about islands. I don't know how this would help someone with dyslexia, but that's what they claimed. And like rugs were named after cities in Denmark. The bed and bath
cool.
were named after flowers and plants. I guess they use Swedish. Is it Swedish?
Yeah.
Yeah, the words in Sweden are for flowers and
Cool.
plants. Yeah, so I mean,
I like that.
don't you think
It makes sense.
it's so weird that it's the only sort of humongous company out of that region, though, that I can think of. Do you know any other big, successful companies?
Yeah, I feel like there are oh gosh, but I don't know the names of them. Well, how successful are they? I don't know the names. But if I looked, I think there are more than we think that are like outdoor gear. Because I remember when I was in Norway, they had a bunch of the like warehouses, like factory warehouses, because I was like, oh, I need to get a good jacket while I'm here. And it was like, oh my God, this company's here, this company's here. Yes. I was like, and they were all like the headquarters, like I live in Southern California, and every single beach, like Volcom headquarters and O'Neill and Rainbow Sandals. And so you can go to the factory outlets and it's 50% off everything.
And it's not as obvious because, like, IKEA purposefully embraced this sort of Swedish thing, but most of them probably westernized.
Yes. Well, and I think that's because of the style of furniture.
Right.
Because Scandinavian is an actual, like, furniture style. Mm-hmm. And so by embracing that, and I think that people were more familiar with IKEA and their style than they were with the style of Scandinavian furniture. That people kind of like... At least I was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like IKEA style. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, that's like Scandinavian style. So they introduced it was like great marketing to introduce a style that was popular in that part of the world, like with a whole
new twist.
Like, it was branded as that. And like,
when you were in Norway, okay, that was in like December. Right, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was in like
December.
November. Yeah, I think so.
And what's the sort of light situation? Is it light all the time at that time of year, or is it the opposite?
It was.
It
was
dark?
not. It was. I don't think I was high enough then where we. Wow,
you didn't even notice?
No, it was pretty normal. I think it got dark later. Yes, but I do remember when I was in Russia, like when I went on that boat trip.
Oh, the cruise.
Yeah, that cruise up there. That when we went to Russia, it was, like 2:00 in the morning, and it looked like 7 p.m.
That freaks me out.
Like you could read a news. It freaked me out too, and it makes your brain feel really weird. Like you feel jet lagged and funky, even though you had fine sleep.
I don't know how people live with that. That would be very frustrating for me.
Well, yeah, and it really does affect, all that, like the 2017 winner of the Nobel Prize was the one who discovered, like, links to circadian rhythms in our genes.
I know, I was just reading about that.
You know how passionate I am about that after our book club book.
Right, and it's all very helpful and true.
Yeah.
I see why they won the Nobel Prize.
And then you think maybe that's why people in certain parts of the world have, like, reputations as being a little more, like, gruff or rough around the edges. And people are like, oh, it's because of the cold. And, like, maybe it's because of the sunlight exposure. And, like,
I feel like that even about, like, Minnesota and Wisconsin, where they have a very stoic personality. They're very friendly, but they're sort of, like, stoic. And my friend Tim said that he's from Minnesota, and he was saying, like, because it's so cold, you spend so much time in your house with your family in the winter that like you just learn how to be like keep your emotions to yourself and be polite.
Yes,
and that made sense to me.
Yeah. I mean my friend Allie, shout out to Allie, she's like, yeah, we're pretty good at this over here because, like, this is what it's like 6 months out of the year, and we just have game rooms. And I was like, oh, that's what game rooms are. That makes sense. And she's like, we have basements. I'm like, oh.
I think it's so weird that people don't have basements out here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Why? Why
you know
not
what?
add
Now
one?
that you say that, there could it be? No, this is a crazy thing. That it has something to do with the soil and digging down? Is that crazy? A weird thought?
It could be, but how could that be?
That seems silly. I just remember that, like, my mom wanted to dig something and do something with the backyard, and
they said no because
they
of the
said
soil?
we can't go through that kind of rock.
Okay, well, maybe then.
I don't know. I'm fucking making this up. Who knows?
I love it. I love when you're crabby. This is the best. This is so great because you're doing what I do. It's so fun.
I'm like, I don't fucking know who this.
Yes.
I told Ren that, but like he's really good at, like, asking, like, polling the group and, like, getting, like, okay, so, like, what do you think is the right thing to do in this situation?
What are the possible theories?
What should we do? Like, should I do A or B or whatever? Or, like, what are the possible theories? He, like, poses the question, and because he's, like, curious and goes, I don't know the answer. Let me ask this question.
That's how you learn.
Which is great. I'm the kind of person who gives the answer, even though I I have no information to back it up. So, like, I'll be like, yeah, it's probably because of da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, but, like, don't take my word for it. And it's only after, him taking my word for it on things and then being like, that's actually not what works best. Where I was like, well, you asked what I thought about this, so I gave you what I thought. I did, It doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing.
Yeah, it's just good
I
to
can't
know
even
that
think
you
of a
do
good
that.
example right now, but it's just hilarious that it's like that you get two people together like that, and I'm like, well, I'm always going to give you an answer if you ask me a question.
Well,
even if I don't know.
One thing Sarah and I were just texting about that we are on the same page about and both agree is that it is a great time to try BetterHelp to get some therapy online.
Oh, yes.
through an
Amen,
app,
sister.
because you can use this time when we're all locked up to reach out and work on some crap. I'm sure you're not thriving right now. Come on. And BetterHelp is great because you can connect with certified, counselors, therapists from your phone or your computer or whatever, and you'll match with a licensed professional, and you can connect online. It's so convenient because we can't go anywhere right now, and you can communicate. And within 24 hours of signing up, you'll find your match, and you can send your message anytime. So anytime you're feeling like you have a need, you can reach out. For depression,
that's a great feature.
Stress, anxiety, sleeping problems, anger, whatever. I was listing, like, everything I'm experiencing. We want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you get 10% off your first month by visiting BetterHelp.com/braincandy. Join over 800,000 people taking charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy. I have tried it. I have a wonderful therapist who was a perfect match for me in terms of, like, what I need and her professionalism.
So glad.
I definitely recommend it if you want someone to talk to.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Anywho.
Since I can't see you as a client,
I know. That is a real bummer.
Yeah. It's okay. I give you the free stuff.
Yeah, the friendship stuff. It's almost as good,
Just
I'm sure.
good. I mean, your friendship for me is fabulous. It works like therapy as well.
Oh, yeah. Mine is like the opposite of therapy. I'm like, yeah, just do it. Just do whatever destructive.
It's different. There's, like, a funny name for it of, like, a friend advice and therapy advice. But like,
yeah,
I'm sure it's in
because
some meme
sometimes
somewhere.
Sarah will say, do you want to know what Sarah, your friend, says? Or what Sarah, the therapist, might say?
Right. Okay, which one do you want right now?
I always want the friend.
Yes. And I'm like, yeah.
Because Sarah,
that
the
person
friend,
sucks.
is very permissive of my nonsense, but Sarah, the therapist, probably would not approve.
No. Right. That's right. So I stay in friend zone.
Okay.
Mode.
Did
Hilarious.
you watch How to Fix a Drug Scandal on Netflix?
Oh, no. I'm just getting ready to dive into it.
I think
Ren
you'll like
and I
it.
were like in the. You don't like it?
No, I think you'll like it.
Oh, I do too. My mom said that she's watching it and she says it's great. And she gave me a little bit. She's like, this happened just in the first 20 minutes. And But
Yes.
yeah, so I really want to see it. It's on the list, and I was just in a comedy mood, so now I'm switching into a what the heck is that? Documentary mood. Here we go.
Sarah and I were joking before we started recording about how this was supposed to be my year of comedy and laughter because that was my New Year's resolution. And Sarah goes, I guess you didn't know it was going to be a dark comedy. It was so true. I did not.
Get real specific with the universe.
Yes.
What you asked for.
I did add another, resolution, though, recently, since quarantine, because
Tell me.
I was struggling because it's stressful and terrible. And I thought, there is only one thing that will help this, and that is for me to help someone else.
Oh, my gosh,
So,
yes.
I just said, every day, I want to be able to answer the question, who did you help today?
Oh my
Somebody.
God,
It doesn't
that's
have
so
to be a
great.
big deal. Just, did you help anyone? So that's my new
We helped
goal.
me today, so check.
Oh, good. Did I?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it does help. It doesn't cure everything, but it does make you feel like you have a purpose.
Yeah.
And you're not a loose end. Because sometimes it can feel
Yes.
like you're just a helpless loose end. And that's
Well,
not a nice
that-
feeling.
That is one of the known, like, ways to boost happiness.
Yeah. And it's
Helping
so
others.
it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's like sometimes it's just
Yeah.
hard to do that when you feel
Right.
like you're floundering.
There's a lot of things that are no-brainers, but we struggle or forget to do.
Yeah. So that's handy. If you are looking for something to like give you purpose, I recommend that one.
Yes.
Okay.
But what about the doc?
Yeah, I really loved it. It was kind of slow, but I think that might be like a Joe Exotic residual effect where after
correct.
watching something like Tiger King, it's like crack.
It is
and
like
so to go back to a normal
You have to-
documentary,
there's a come down. I was just going to say.
there is.
Yeah.
And so I almost had to recalibrate, so it took me a little bit to get into it. But it's about issues at 2 Massachusetts drug labs that where chemists were supposed to be testing the drugs that come through from crimes and like that the police sees and things like that. And 2 of the chemists were involved in sort of misbehavior or negligence or whatever you want to call it. And unfortunately, it affected thousands of prisoners. And so you see how it played out, who got punished, what were the sort of consequences of it. And it also sheds light on the fact that the system is not great and there needs to be a lot
It's
more
not great.
safeguards to protect the innocent and also the alleged criminals.
Jeez. Yep.
I'm worried about all my
Man.
prisoner friends right now.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It's even Joe Exotic.
I'm not worried about him so much.
He got the coronavirus.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. I saw it on the.
I've been noticing so much like misinformation, so I don't know what to believe
Oh my
anymore.
gosh, that is so true. People are bored and they're at
Yeah.
home just like.
Did you
Let's
see this
stir
thing
the
about
pot.
the thing that went viral where the gorilla was like washing her hands or the orangutan or whatever?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Are you mad about it?
No, but I'm like fake. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was
Yeah, of
real,
course.
but it was from last year, and it
Oh,
wasn't
for
in
Pete's sake.
response to watching the zookeepers wash their hands.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it and why someone would sort of grasp onto that and perpetuate the lie. And I think it's similar to those ones that went viral about like the dolphins are coming back to the Venice canals and all those because I think people really want to believe that just like us staying home for a couple weeks solves the climate change problem or like, which it definitely doesn't.
Right.
And it almost is like, see, it's no big whoop. Look, we fixed it. I think it's kind of like that, and not in a bad way. It's just that we're so desperate for good news and
Right.
sort of the world to be back on its axis that we're
Yeah.
kind of inventing stories to help us feel better.
Yeah. Or seeing what we want to see
Yeah.
in these stories,
Yeah.
which you know what is a survival strategy.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism. And maybe
But-
even think about the journalists, like, because often there's distance. Like, you're reporting on something that's happening, you know, like who's, like the writers of the articles even. Mm-hmm. You know, and like you're reporting on something that's happening over there. So there's it's like externalized. But, you know, now you're like in it and you're dealing with the same thing. So, you know, I feel like even like everybody maybe.
Well, and like a lot of people were saying
silver lining.
What's the harm, you know, if it gives us hope or whatever? But the conservationists were saying the harm is just that if you find out it's a hoax, then there's a deflation of your spirit that happens, and that can lead to apathy and feeling like, oh, you know, there's no hope anyway. So, like, let's not worry about it. But,
totally.
Yeah, just something to think about.
Yeah, like going back to, oh, yeah, you know, we can go back to, like, everything's fine. Look, we, like, that 2 weeks indoors undoes, you know, like, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, problem solved.
Yep, problem solved.
I read this great piece from NPR about this guy who's like an amateur scientist who's lived alone in the Rockies for like 50 years.
Ooh, I love those kind of guys.
It was really cool because, you know, obviously it's more important now to understand like the best strategies for dealing with this new normal. And he was so cool too because he was just like, he's very matter of fact, and he was saying that he never knows what day it is, but he always knows what time it is, so focus on that. And I thought that was good advice. Like, stick to a schedule because then, you know, you have the time in your head, whereas who cares what day it is, you know?
Okay, I want to hear all of these things, but I have to say, I read an article. It was like a headline I clicked on and then a very short article. And I was like, what the fuck? That was about how it was like an astronaut who lives in isolation gives tips on how to help with quarantine.
I didn't like that article.
It was one tip. It was exercise.
It was
Fuck
so
off.
dumb.
I mean, I get it, but you're talking with a different kind of person, like the kind of self-discipline that an astronaut has.
Yeah, I know. Sarah, I'm glad you agree. I felt the same way when I read that.
We need to talk to caveman, wilderness dude, who's like, you know, dealing with some real shit and like maybe has, I don't know, whatever's led him to the woods. Like that. I want that. I am at his level of
I agree.
functioning.
I agree. I found his advice helpful. He was saying, make yourself useful. So, like, he started measuring snowfall and just keeping track of the weather and then would kind of chart it. And he ended up becoming this incredible climate change scientist, but he never intended to. Like, he was just reporting what he found. And that has changed the course of climate change. But anyway, he found a way to make himself useful, and he recommends that. And then he said...
I wonder if that was intentional.
What?
To
become useful.
If he thought about that, or if he's like reflecting on this is what I did. Like if he naturally did that, because a lot of outdoorsy woodsman kind of people do those odd things, like measure that stuff, and you think it's like part of survival, but maybe it's this natural.
Well, he said he started journaling, and then he read it back and didn't find it useful because it was just sort of like boring as hell. And so instead of doing that, he decided to track the weather instead.
Interesting.
I know. Isn't that cool?
This guy is...
We like him.
Yeah, he was like too smart to live amongst us regular folk.
And then he said, don't celebrate what you're supposed to celebrate. Like, if you don't want to celebrate, you know, a holiday, don't. Or your birthday, who cares? Celebrate what matters. And for him, that was like, he hates having to go to town and deal with groceries, which so do I. And
right
so
now, me too.
He would save watching a movie he liked for when he got back to celebrate having done something he hated, which I thought was great.
Okay. Yes, a reward system, a celebrate. This is like that ABC thing we were talking about before.
Yeah. So like
It's
when
a
he would get
celebration.
back, he knew he had something to look forward to, and it was going to be fun. And then he set up 3 chairs in his little projector area, but he said he always thought he'd invite people to join him, and he never did.
Oh.
He's not a big social guy. That's all right.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
Man.
He seems very
Those
content.
are... See, that's already better advice than the astronaut lady gave me.
I know.
Disappointed.
The funny thing is, I think I read a different astronaut one because it was about a man, but equally stupid.
Yeah, I was like, thanks a lot. One of the most high-functioning, disciplined, like, able to deal with high stress, environments person. Yeah, I don't have the same skill set.
I seriously can't believe that some of those people go up there for a year.
Right.
It's insane. I don't understand how any human being can have a mind that is that stable.
I don't either. I'm sure it's like rigorous testing.
It just doesn't even seem like any person.
Think about how, I'm always surprised that people don't go nuts on airplanes more.
That's true. I agree. Yep.
Good
point.
So, up in space, that's one of my themes and reoccurring nightmares. I wake like I'm on a space station. And for some people, they might think that's great, but I'm always terrified that, there's always, a hatch that's open, and then I can't breathe. And,
that's awful.
And, I know.
Your nightmares are so elaborate.
Yeah, they're usually themed. So... It's like one of 3 or 4 themes. It's like I'm either at camp, on a challenge, or docked at the U.S. space station.
Hey, did you happen to read during this time about that fucking bitch, Typhoid Mary?
Yes, because I asked Alexa who Typhoid Mary was because I was like, why does this keep coming up in my mind that so can you elaborate a little more than Alexa did?
Idiot. Yeah, I bet Alexa didn't tell you what a stupid ass this bitch was.
No, she didn't.
So this dummy was working in, I guess, kitchens, and then there was these outbreaks of typhoid, and they didn't know why. And eventually, it took a really long time, but eventually they realized that she was the problem. That wherever, she was a nanny at the time, and so every family would end up getting fucking typhoid and dying. And so they realized that she was the common denominator. And then they realized that she was an asymptomatic carrier of typhoid. And so they took her and they made her live in isolation for 3 years. And she hated it, as you would. And she was so mad about it. And so
she did not have Netflix.
She didn't have Netflix. And she was just pissed. And so she promised them if they let her out, she would never work with food or anything again. And so finally, they relented. They let this woman out, and it took 2 seconds for her to get another job in a kitchen. And
oh my God!
Under an assumed name, she was determined. Oh. And then, of course, people started dying again, and so then they found her. And
yet Alexa did not say all this.
So then they had to take her to this island off of Manhattan.
Oh my God!
It's called North Brother Island, and it's super tiny, this place you don't want to live, and made her live there for the next 25 years until she died.
Oh my God.
Because this all could have been handled if she just washed her hands before she did the food too.
Oh my God.
But they didn't know that back then.
Well, yeah. Oh.
So the only answer was...
Did they think she was a murderer? I mean, did they
I mean, maybe not, but she was, because she knew she had this and kept doing it anyway.
Yeah, because that's if you knowingly infect somebody with something, I think there's definitely laws against that.
Yeah, like HIV and stuff. That's how it is now. Mm-hmm. So then I was reading about that particular island, North Brother Island, which still exists, but it's been abandoned since 1963. Oh my God. And to
Who
go
did
there,
she live there with? When did she live there?
There must have been other people at that time in terms of because the
who else
island
did they send there?
The island for a while became a tuberculosis ward, and then for another period of time it was a drug rehab island. And so it went through different iterations of what was housed there, but now it's this creepy, kooky island where everything is still there, but it's all dilapidated and it's super spooky. In order to go there, you have to get
AF. In order to go there, you have to get tuberculosis.
You have to be an asymptomatic carrier. Anyway, so that's kind of creepy. And eventually it'll be underwater, though, because it's when the water rises, North Brother's going to be underneath.
Oh, my God. It's that? Wow.
Yeah, so now it's
Jeez.
just
That's
empty.
a crazy thing to think that man.
I know.
Yeah, but no, global warming, everything's fine. Dolphins are returning.
Dolphin. And like when people tell me that stuff, I don't correct them because I don't want to be yuck anybody's yum. But inside, I'm just like, I wish I could tell you that that's not actually true.
Yeah, I will say, like, I live in a very, very busy and like trafficy area, and usually, and now when I walk the dog, just take the dog to the dog park because I'm not walking on big long walks now. I can really hear birds. It's like
I know
birds
that is
chirping.
Nice.
It's really nice. And I had that same thought, and then I thought the thing afterwards of like, yeah, but like this is temporary and doesn't, birds aren't. We just hear them now because there are no cars, like,
Right, there's nothing competing with them. We've been leaving lots of presents for our crow friends. I'm hoping to establish a bond.
That's a really good thing to do. Establish a relationship.
Like, I want them to be my friends so bad. Remember when I Googled how to be friends with crows?
This is a good. If there's ever an animal that, like, in nature that you could do this with, this would be the one.
What do you think they want me to leave for them, though? Because I want to make them happy.
Shiny things.
Okay.
Yep. And I say this because a long time ago, I talked about a story of a little girl who did
like
that, and the crows brought things to her.
Yeah, like nuts and bolts.
And then they said that they started, they recognized that she had a preference for certain things, and the things that they brought became things that she liked more, and they were more personalized.
Okay. What do you think they want me to give them? Shiny things?
Shiny things.
But then what are they going to give me?
I don't know. I don't know how to make it a reciprocal.
I mean, you know
like
what? We're mentally off the rails today, and I love it.
No, because like if there were, you have a husband who would build this and a son who would be interested in this, and I mean, talk about a way to kill an afternoon or an entire week or really, a month, because ongoing research. You could build one of those like what the hell, vending machines.
What?
Yeah, they work. People have done this. Researchers built a vending machine where crows, you have to, they'll create a relationship because they use tools and things in their surroundings. And so researchers put a vending machine, out in the middle of nowhere and taught them to put coins in the machine, and it would give them, popcorn or something. And
that is adorable.
With putting the coins all around, close, a whole bunch of them around the machine. And they would, because crows naturally are well, I got to get this out of here. What can I try? And they'll use things. So a really simple kind of vending machine, contraption or whatever. Obviously not the dial for a gumball, because they don't have opposable thumbs, people, if that's what you're picturing in your mind, because I know somebody is, because that's what I pictured in my mind when I first thought of this. So it's not that. But a crow-friendly vending machine. And then so all the quarters out, or whatever, quarters, pennies, whatevs. And then eventually they will figure it out.
God,
and
I love them.
Then you can start taking the quarters and just leave quarters, and then farther and farther away. And then soon they'll know that they've seen quarters before. And so they'll go and collect them from other places and bring them. And
I'm going to be rich.
Yeah, quarters. That's so great.
I love
there
that.
you go. You could do this.
Okay.
I mean, why not try? At least. I mean, think about how much fun. God, I got to have a fucking kid. I mean, I could get Ren this excited about
Absolutely
this, because I did introduce him to stovetop popcorn.
Oh yeah.
And the enthusiasm I saw, the light in his eyes when he saw those pops, it was like the joy I saw in Lincoln. So we could duplicate that maybe with some crow. I mean, the birds are coming out in L.A., like I said.
I know. I'm excited. I'm going to develop this friendship. I'm going to be one of those weird ladies that love birds.
Oh my gosh, I could see that for you.
Yes, I feel like it's my destiny.
And they sing, and you could whistle to it, and it would, like, sing back.
And they recognize faces.
Oh, come on, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Crows probably don't, like, whistle back. Maybe. They make a weird sound. They're not very musical.
I'm going to be like Snow White.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, imagine.
Okay, next conversation.
So cute.
When you were growing up, this might have been after or should I say before your time, were you a member of either Columbia House or BMG Music Company?
Oh, for like 1 second, and I never got any. I paid more for it than I.
You were how they made money.
Yes, I was that person. I did not follow up. I got, like, charged, and then you have to do the whole send it in. I'm sure, and I definitely took my parents' credit card to do this.
Yeah, for sure.
This wasn't an approved transaction.
Okay, so...
Which I'm sure is how my mom fought it with the credit card company.
A lot of our listeners are probably too young to remember, but Columbia House and BMG, which is Blockbuster Music Group, they had these sort of membership programs where if you bought one CD, one full price CD, they would give you like a gazillion more for a penny or whatever. Yeah. And everyone was a member. I don't know anybody that wasn't involved somehow with this. Yeah. And so I watched this video of like, how did these companies make money? Because really you'd buy, so let's say you paid $20 for a CD and then you got 15 CDs. It was insane. Well,
I never remember receiving 15 CDs.
I feel like maybe your family stole them. Because you should have had a ton of CDs coming to you. Your mom probably put the kibosh on that.
Probably, yeah. Continue.
Well, so they were describing how the companies would license the songs from the artist, but they would buy like the crappy version, like the one that might have like a different lyric or like just sort of a little almost bootleg style. And so they would get it cheaper. And then they wouldn't license like the jacket of the CD. It would just be like a piece of paper in there. And so they cut costs that way. And then they were able to, and I mean, almost all my CDs were from BMG. And I love those companies because that's what introduced me to so many different kinds of music, but I'm sure that wasn't the case for everyone. But I just thought it was funny that they're like billion-dollar industries that are now completely extinct.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally but maybe that people like built on that in some way.
Yeah, they like pivoted.
Yeah, to something else because...
I also read about Publishers Clearinghouse, which is a similar scenario except with like magazines and books. Yeah. And like... how they would give out money. They'd come to your door and be like, you won $1 million. Do you remember those commercials?
Yeah.
But it was saying like, you know, people believed incorrectly that they had to like buy these subscriptions in order to qualify for the contest. So they ended up getting sued and stuff. But they're still in business, as you say, digitally and make tons of money. So they did something right.
Because I definitely did that, too. I got all the magazine subscriptions, and then I would run through this was like anything. Like I would, whenever it was like, oh, time to renew, I would never renew. So I would just get like the introductory rate.
What magazines did you subscribe to when you were little?
Like little kid, Ranger Rick.
What is that?
Oh, it was the best.
Is it like Girl Scouts thing?
No, it was like a little ranger, like I think it was a raccoon, and it was like nature-y kids magazine, like what's the great one? Highlights. Definitely had that too, but it was like Highlights, but like more nature-y.
And then what did you go to when you were in like teenage?
Nickelodeon magazine. Freaking loved that. Then I started graduating to the what is it? It was like my guilty pleasure, but like I didn't want anybody to know that I was reading like all the 17 and those magazines.
Oh yeah. YM.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like rejecting that being that kind of girl. You know, I was like cutting all the hair off my Barbie dolls and like you know. But
Yeah,
really,
you were
that's just
goth.
because I felt like I was never going to be accepted by the kind of girls on the covers of 17 magazine. So I'm like, well, if I can't,
That's
you
when
know,
you became
be
Tuesday's
one, then I'm just
Sacrifice.
going to be, the opposite of that. Dye my hair black and bleh. And really, I think it was like, yeah.
I wonder if we would have been friends, because I was always irritated by that sort of philosophy, but then the people made me laugh. I really liked them. The
we
goth
probably would have been
kids.
friends. I
Okay.
definitely, yeah, for sure.
Maybe
Plus,
you wouldn't have
I
liked
hung out
me.
with a bunch of religious friends. All my
that's
friends are
true.
like, 100%.
Okay. I just want to know
Yeah.
that we would have been friends.
My friends were like Mormon and like, you know, going to church and like, yeah.
How about those Mormons? They were prepared for all this, all their canning and homesteading.
Yeah,
They
right.
were totally ready. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Did we already talk about how maybe my mom just said that the young people are creating a shortage of yeast in the United States because everybody's home making bread?
I saw you on your Insta story, and you didn't see it, but I wrote, I ordered, I have 2 pounds. I got you, boo.
Oh, that's right.
I'm like part of the problem.
Oh, that's
But
so
I've
funny.
always been making bread, so
Yes, you have.
that's not a new
Your
thing.
OG bread maker. That's funny.
Yes, but I mean, I like all that, but I just don't want people to feel like they have to
Yeah,
be doing
I
stuff.
did make some banana bread in that, and then the day I made the banana bread, all these memes came out about how everybody's making fucking banana bread. And I swear I have a theory on this, that it's because all of us bulk bought
Bananas.
2 weeks ago, and now they're all going bad. So we're all like, oh, I know what you could do. You can make banana bread. So then people are like, oh, here, let me post my banana. That's what's happened. It's exactly in line with when all that panic buying
when
was.
they're going to expire. I know.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with apples. I made homemade applesauce like a freaking pioneer woman.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm doing I've got the apples ready for an apple crisp
Oh, that's
this
a
week
better idea.
myself.
I think that
Delish.
people should take this time to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe
Please.
and tell a friend.
Yes, we are a great podcast to listen to while you are baking or cooking. I know because I do it myself.
Yeah, so do that.
Laugh
and,
at my own jokes.
And maybe you guys can be crabby with us, and we'll just
Yes,
live in
we
that.
love that.
That's fine.
Send us some funny things you see.
All right, we love you. See you next time.
Love ya. Bye.